Welcome to episode 3 of Before the Ball Drop podcast. We're your hosts, James.
And Rebekkah.
James and Rebekkah back here again for week 3. We'd like to thank everybody who has joined us so far for these first couple episodes. We had to take a week off there. There was a bit of a sickness in the family.
Yes, unfortunately. I'm feeling much better, though.
Yes, right. Rebekkah wasn't feeling too good, but she's back on her feet again, and we're back here dialed in for episode 3, and we're excited about that.
Yes, we are. What are we talking about this week?
This week, we're talking about 90s anime. This has been an episode we've been excited about since we started doing the podcast. Isn't that right?
Yes. Yes, this is one that I'm very excited for.
Yes. And before we get into the episode, I'd like to give a special shout out to my sister Haley. She listened to the first 2 episodes and gave me a lot of great feedback. She let me know about the plant that I discussed in the first episode, the one I said I used to step on and it hurt all the time. It's called nettles. That's what it's called. Nettles. Good old nettles.
Mm-hmm. The bane of every 90s child existence.
Yeah, the reason we don't see them as much now is because of the pesticides these days. Most pesticides that are used these days will kill those and get rid of them. But they still exist. I have been told they still exist, but we just don't see them as often as we did in the 90s.
No,
So
future kids will never know.
Yeah, eventually, they'll probably be extinct at this point. But yeah, shouts out to my sister Haley.
Perfect.
Thank you for letting us know about this.
Thank you, Haley.
Yes. This week's episode is about, like we said, 90s anime, and we did the exchange thing again, where we gave each other a piece of 90s anime media, where the other one hadn't seen before. You recommended me Baki, Grappler Baki, and the OVA. I watched it. I absolutely loved it. Thank you for that recommendation.
Hey, you're welcome.
Reminded me of Bloodsport with Jean-Claude Van Damme, which is an amazing movie. Like one of my favorite, old, action movies, karate movies, really. It's it's a martial arts movie. I love it. So it really reminded me of that. That's the first thing I thought of. I'm like, this is like some Jean-Claude Van Damme Bloodsport stuff. I'm into this.
No, it's wild because fighting action stuff wasn't really my thing as a kid. So I'm surprised because it was one of my most watched VHSs as a kid.
Yeah, the first fight in that, whenever he destroys his arm, the dude gets his arm destroyed, and then he just pops it back.
Oh, the part that gets me is the bicep when he pulls out the vein or the muscle. And he just takes it and snaps it with his finger.
I know, dude. Those fight scenes are actually pretty fucked up.
Yeah,
but I love it in a good way. It also reminded me a lot of some Fist of North Star type of stuff as well. Is what it really reminded me of as well.
I do love
so it was it was Bloodsport mixed with a little bit of Fist of the North Star. I like the old man, the little tiny old man.
Yeah.
He was actually so sweet. They carried him around like he was a baby.
Yeah.
I liked him. I actually did. And also Baki as a character is great because he could have killed that dude, but he didn't in the final fight. So
yeah, Baki's a great character in himself.
Yeah. Yeah, he could have ended that dude's life, and he chose to spare him at the end and visit him in the hospital afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's a great dude. I wish there was more stuff based on him.
Yeah, I know my friend used to, he would always show me little clips of Baki and stuff that he would get on his TikTok For You page and stuff all the time. And yeah, I never really got interested in it, but yeah, now I saw that and I was like, wow, what was I was missing out, because Baki is pretty freaking wild.
Yeah. Yeah. And I, as a kid, that was the only anime VHS that we had in our house. So Like I didn't really know what I was watching. It was just like a cartoon to me. I was like, "Oh, cool!" Like fighting stuff and everything. Um, but like I had no concept that the movie was actually like the first couple episodes of the anime.
Yeah, it's like just a little cartoon, innocent little cartoon, little kid watching this. It's not gonna do any lasting damage to me mentally. There's
Right.
no way. No, not
I,
at all.
I always
No.
picture the bicep scene. It like pops into my
Yeah,
head every once in a while.
yeah, that's such a great piece of media. I'm glad that you recommended it to me. So once again, thank you for recommending me Baki.
There's another one
Mm.
too, that is similar to it. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. It's called Hajime no Ippo. I think I'm butchering that name, but it's a Japanese boxing themed anime.
Yeah, originally when you recommended Baki, I think I got it confused with that one.
Yeah,
Because
that
I was
one's
like,
really
oh, the
good.
boxing anime, right? And like then I watched. I'm like, wait, this isn't boxing. This is martial arts.
I
I
really
got it
like
confused
those
with
ones.
another
Yeah,
one. I think it just like had like similar animation, right? The boxing one does.
yeah. They were made around the same time.
All right, yeah, so that's how I got him confused. But yeah, did you get a chance to check out the Tenji
I
anime
couldn't
that I recommended?
find much on it, but
Yeah,
the one that you recommended to me was Tenchi Muo.
yeah, Tenchi Muyo Ryo-Oki, which was the original like OVA series.
Yeah, and I did watch like clips of it because that's all I could really find. But
Mhm.
it seems like a very good anime, but also very like sad. I was kind of
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a it's a weird one. It's a harem anime, obviously. Like the guy just lucks into having all these alien babes, like just from different planets, just to keep showing up at his house, and they're like causing chaos, and they fighting each other all the time, and they're all pining for Tenchi's affection. And as a kid watching that, I was like so like confused as what I was watching, but it was my favorite anime as a kid. I couldn't wait to come home and watch it after school on Toonami every day. I have so many fond memories of it, and I had a couple friends who were into it. A lot of people in my school weren't into it because they just didn't get it, but I guess I was more mature minded in a way because I loved it, and I had like maybe like one friend actually, like it was my best friend at the time in school, and that's the anime we liked. We liked Tenchi. We would like draw the different girls and stuff.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's great.
yeah. So yeah, Tenchi was good. I'm glad you got a chance to at least see some of what it was. And yeah, because there was Tenchi Muyo Ryo-Oki, which was just called Tenchi Muyo when it aired on Toonami. Then Tenchi Universe came after that, and then Tenchi in Tokyo was the third series that they showed. Then there was Tenchi Muyo GXP, which was like a space one, and that then after that it was like dormant for years, and then they started making new ones, like newer ones, more recently in the past like decade as well. So
Yeah,
it's very much still a thing, but yeah, nothing beats the original Ryo-Oki OVA series for me. I loved it so much, and still an all timer for me that I find myself going back to all the time.
I will have to like look more into it and get like the actual discs so that I can watch the full series.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a worthwhile investment. I love it. Just anything Tenchi related as a kid, I was all over that. Like, there was never any like merchandise that I could find or anything which made me mad because I would always be like, tell everybody about Tenchi Muyo. I'm like, Tenchi Muyo, that's the best anime. I remember someone gave me a manga of it when I was little, and I was really happy about that. It was like volume 7, but like I didn't care. I was like, I have a Tenchi book, and that's cool. Like, I don't care what volume it is. I think it's pretty cool that I have this because it's the only piece of Tenchi merchandise that I had growing up was that book. I kept it for so long.
And the characters look very familiar, so I feel like I've seen it around before.
Yeah, you've probably seen fan art or just random like anime music videos and clips and stuff as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always like Ryoko. Ryoko, the like one of the main girls there, the gray-haired girl slash blue, I guess you could say. But she was always the one I liked when I was like younger. It's funny. Which leads me to also want to talk about the first episode again. We talked about 90s movies. I completely left out something that I should have put in there, and I want to say it real quick about Batman Forever.
Mm.
Batman Forever. I was only 5 years old, and I had a crush on Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy in Batman Forever.
Oh, really?
Yes, she was like the first like woman like that I like was attracted to, I guess, as just a kid, and I would carry around this little trading card of her. Like it was pretty sad, but also cute because I was a kid. But we were talking about like women and like shows and stuff, and there's another little, fun fact for everybody. 5-year-old James loved Poison Ivy, Uma Thurman.
That's all right, though.
Yeah,
I mean, I think I carried around a picture of Aaron Carter, so
there you go. Aaron Carter, man, I loved his music. We didn't talk about him either, actually, that's another thing in the music episode was I remember the Aaron Carter the Party CD, Aaron's Party.
yeah,
Like my sister had that CD. I loved it. I loved that CD. Was that like 2000? I think that was 2000.
I think so.
Yeah, I know. I was a big Aaron Carter fan. R.I.P. to AC. Bad what happened to him, and yeah.
Nothing humbles you more, though, than for your age, because when that happened, I said to my coworker, I was like, oh my god, Aaron Carter died. And she's like, who? And I'm like, Backstreet Boys? Like, the brother? And she's like,
Yeah,
I don't know who Backstreet Boys is. And
Womp womp.
I was like, what? And she's like, is it an old band? And I'm like, old? What do you mean? I was like, I'm only like 10 years older than you.
Oh my god, dude. Right. It's humbling and this soul crushing in a way.
It really is. It really is.
It's like womp womp Gramps. I hate that. Yeah. Oh. Don't worry. We're not old. That's not. They're just uncultured if they don't know who the Backstreet Boys are. I mean, pretty much everybody does. Like, still,
we're just
people in their 20s and younger still know who that is. They're just not cultured and they're not well read, and that's fine.
We're just aged, like fine wine.
Damn right.
Mm-hmm.
Aged like fine wine. We are getting sidetracked, but it's okay.
That's all right.
Yeah. So yeah, we did Baki and Tenchi, so now let's get into our respective coming of age for both of us when we were watching anime for the first time as a kid. Earliest memories of anime. So was Baki the first? You said that was like the earliest memory you had of watching anime?
No, that I'm actually going to. So my first memory of ever watching anime, but I didn't know it was anime, was Sailor Moon. Because my mom would let me stay home from school, so she would let me go in late, and I would cuddle up on the couch with her, and we would watch Sailor Moon every morning. And I didn't I don't think that she knew that it was an anime either. I think she thought it was just like a cartoon. But I loved it. It was like my favorite anime as a kid. One of them. I'll talk about the other one in a minute. But Sailor Moon was definitely my first experience and the best experience for me.
You brought up Sailor Moon, and I have to remind you to could you share the story about the the cousin?
Yes. So there's cousins in the American version. I think it's who is it? Uranus and one sec. I forget who the cousins are. Sailor Moon. Oh, who are they? It's Uranus and Mercury. That's it. And in the Americanized version, they censor them so that every scene with them is like cousins. but it's so awkward when you actually know the truth that they're a couple, right? And my mom knew this entire time because she like read between the lines and everything, and she just kept it to herself. And it wasn't until like I think this year, right, when I found out that they were actually not cousins.
Like
And
you
I
grew up thinking, oh man, this is just how cousins are together, you know?
yeah,
That's so
which
wild.
is not true. And I went to my mom and I'm like earlier this year, and I'm like, did you know that the two cousins from Sailor Moon are not actually cousins? And she's like, yes, we all knew they were lesbians. And I was like, why didn't you tell me? And she's like, you were like, what, 7? She's like, well, how am I going to explain that to you?
That's so wild. I love that story so much. I was not gonna let this episode happen without you telling that on here, because when you told us that on one of your streams, I was just that sent me.
Yeah, like I went
Oh
my
my god.
entire adulthood without knowing that. And my mom knew before I did, which is so embarrassing.
Oh my god. Just that's crazy. Like poor you. Like you grew up thinking that. Oh man, this is just what cousins
Right? I was like, oh yeah, I wish I had a close cousin relationship like this. Because I don't have any cousins. Well, I have one, but we don't talk. So I was always like, I wish I had cousins like this. And then my mom would just like look at me, right?
are.
And I
Well,
never understood. So
you'll find
embarrassing.
plenty of it in Alabama.
But she like just
Lord.
thought it was like innocent child stuff. She was like, "Mm-hmm, yes, honey, yes." And meanwhile, she's like watching the show, and she's like, "These lesbos, man, we love an ally."
That's tremendous. And another quick little thing, since you brought up Sailor Moon, I was going to bring up the Ronin Warriors that I grew up watching. Before I get into what my first experience with anime was, Ronin Warriors was a show I watched as a kid. I got into Sailor Moon like later on, obviously. Like, years later, I bought the DVDs at FYE and really dove into it. But as a kid, I didn't watch it. I thought it was just like, I don't know. I thought it was just for girls and stuff. And I was one of those idiots who, you know, let that kind of like not like ruin the show for me. But I watched the Ronin Warriors, which was pretty much the boy equivalent of Sailor Moon. It was about high school boys who had like the same kind of powers awakening in them, and they were the Ronin Warriors. And yeah, I loved that show, and I always wanted to be just like one of them.
Did,
Uh,
did they also have cousins?
no, they didn't have a cousins to lovers little thing here. They didn't have that. They didn't have that kind of a thing happening in that show. But I do remember a lot about the show. I remember Tulpa was the name of the evil villain, and I remember just being so fascinated with the transformations of the characters. Like when they would transform, they had different armor, uh, and there was the main character had like a extra superpowered form on top of the one that he had with his original transformation form, which was also really really cool. So yeah, a lot like Sailor Moon. Every time they transformed, it would show the whole transformation sequence for each of the guys when they're transforming. So it was so much like Sailor Moon, but just for young boys, I guess, as a target audience. And I remember my stepdad. I didn't have a lot of friends as a kid, and my stepdad would like make balloon people for me, and he'd draw faces on them, and he's like, "These are your friends," and it was really sweet of him. And I remember I like blew up different colored balloons and said they were the Ronin Warriors.
That's so
So
cute.
yeah, I was like, "Yeah, these are my other friends. These are the Ronin Warriors. Um, they're here to protect me." So yeah, Ronin Warriors, Sailor Moon are very similar. Um, my earliest, I think, probably the earliest for me watching anime was probably Pokemon when it was on TV. And of course, that's another thing where like I didn't really know what anime was. I just thought it was just a regular cartoon. Um, Pokemon was the big thing because obviously in the 90's, Pokemania, we could do an entire episode on just Pokemania.
And we will.
Honestly. Yeah, and we definitely will. Um, but yeah, like Pokemon was huge for me. Watching it with my friends before, like after school, before school, playing with the little toys that we collected, like the trading cards, the video games, everything. The Pokemon was probably the earliest I remember. And then when Toonami started airing after school, that's when I started getting into Dragon Ball Z. Of course, like you said, Tenchi was on that same block. Uh, Yu Yu Hakusho, which is my all-time favorite anime now. I didn't really give it a look when I was a kid, but when I got older, I watched it and it became my favorite, all-time favorite anime. Um, so it was that kind of block was on. Gundam Wing was on there all the time. Outlaw Star was another anime that I remember being on there. Big O, which is like basically like a anime version of Batman, Batman with mechs, basically. That one was really, really cool. um, so yeah, Toonami stuff. You had something similar to Toonami, right? In Canada when you were growing up?
We had Teletoon, yeah.
What kind of shows do you remember being on Teletoon?
Um, Daytime ones I don't remember as much as nighttime, but nighttime was more like the adult stuff, so like Quads, which is like a show. It wouldn't be on TV these days. It was really bad. It was a really bad like politically incorrect show. Um, there was one called Undergrads, which is a show about like well, undergrads, like four friends who go to undergrads. Simple Plan actually does their theme song. And
Simple Plan. Shout out Simple Plan.
yeah. And yeah, it was just a like that was probably my most watched thing was undergrads and quads. I actually have a funny story about quads because my neighbor who lives literally just across the back street backyard from me, um we weren't allowed to watch it at my house because my mom didn't like it. So every night at like 12 a.m., I would just sneak over to her house. And one day I went to climb out my window, but I live on the second story and there's nothing to break my fall. So I got stuck outside my window. And
All
try
because
explaining
of
that to your
quads.
mother.
All because of quads.
All because of quads. I still ended up sneaking over and watching it. But try explaining to your mother that you got stuck outside your window.
You knew quads made me do it, ma.
You should look it up. It's actually a really funny show. It does not hold up well though.
I'll definitely check it out. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't hold up well, but it's still funny.
Yeah.
Like the dub for the ghost stories.
I never heard of that one.
Oh my god, it is this anime that like they just let them go completely like off the rails with when they dubbed it. They was said you can say whatever the hell you want. So just if you look it up after this, won't regret it. Like it's just like look up like even like watching a minute of like a compilation in that and you're gonna cry laughing and you're gonna be like how did they allow this to happen. They say the most like insane off the wall stuff in that dub. Like the creators didn't care. They're like, okay, we're gonna give it to you, you can say make the characters say whatever the hell you want, because it wasn't gonna be like a popular anime. Like it wasn't popular I guess in Japan, so they were like, here you can take it and just make it stupid like like ridiculous. Oh my god, yeah, I can't repeat like half the stuff they say on that.
Yeah, like Teletoon After Dark was really fun. What other one? We had like a lot of Canadian exclusive ones, like Sons of Butcher, which was like this Toronto-based band. Like they were an actual band, and they made a show on Teletoon After Dark, and that was really
So
cool.
it's like Metalocalypse.
Yeah, sort of. And yeah, there was like one about these superhero brothers. I don't remember the name, but it was such a stupid show, but it was so funny at the same time.
The, you mean like the Venture Brothers? Like we used to have that on Adult Swim.
Venture
It wasn't an
Brothers.
anime, but it was funny.
Let me check. Let me look that up quickly. No, not that.
Okay.
forget what it was called, but Teletoon after Derek superhero show. I think it was called. No, I can't find it now. I'll find it eventually. It'll hit me in like the middle of the night or something.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's pretty cool to know that there was something like that out there on the other end there, in that other planet, Canada. That they had like a similar thing, but also a lot different because you guys had like a 24-hour like block of anime. We didn't have anything like that. We only like for Toonami, it was just like an after school thing. And
Yeah,
then Saturday morning they had well sometimes they do the midnight run on Fridays and Saturdays, and that was like pretty cool. That eventually is I think what the vehicle for Adult Swim what that became. But Saturday morning sometimes they'd have one called the Rising Sun Toonami block, and a lot of times it was like the Dragon Ball like movies that were turned into like miniseries. Like I remember watching the Garlic Jr. saga as like a Saturday morning thing, which was really cool. I was a big fan of that saga as a kid because at that time they were just replaying over and over again. We it took a while for us to get Dragon Ball GT, so they would replay the Saiyan saga and Frieza saga and all that stuff. And actually, it's before the Cell games even happened and all that, the Android saga. So they replay the first two sagas like over and over again for the longest time. So it was like when we finally got that Garlic Jr. stuff, I was like, this is fucking cool.
we
So
also
yeah,
we also had YTV. I don't know if that was a thing there.
YTV not ringing a bell. I mean, there's a channel called My YTV, which that's a completely different thing.
Oh, but we had like Canadian exclusive shows like Angela Anaconda, which I still remember the intro to, and I'm sure people will like remember. It was like dooby dooby doo wop wop. My
Actually,
name
an
is
Angela
Angela.
Anaconda. That was weird looking. I was like, what the? That's actually like so unsettling looking. I thought like a real, like her real, it was like a real person's face and stuff on there,
Oh, it was great.
in the
What a
body
great
and
show.
stuff. Yeah, I never watched it, but I remember seeing like, I'm like, this is kind of like some uncanny valley looking stuff here.
And Molly and the comfy chair. So the voice actress for I think it was Claire in Resident Evil 2, she actually played Molly. So the person played.
Oh, you mean yeah, the big
Yeah.
comfy couch? Yeah, I
Yeah.
love the big couch. Yeah,
She was
yeah, that's
actually
right.
in
Yes,
town like a few months ago. Well,
like
not a few, like earlier this year.
yeah.
And I missed
But
her
yeah,
because I
no.
was in Japan.
Lunette, yeah, the girl who plays Lunette, she still does a lot of like stuff. Like,
Yeah.
she still does like appearances with the clown stuff on and everything. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was
I
wild
always,
that she came to our little town.
yeah, that's awesome.
And then, yeah, we had like quite different shows, but all really good. I mean, YTV always played like Inuyasha, and that's how I got into it because it would always like rerun at nighttime, so I would always just
Yeah,
watch it until like 2 in the morning.
yep, Inuyasha was big on Adult Swim for sure. Whenever that block, but I think Toonami really is the reason why Adult Swim existed.
Yeah,
Toonami, I think, like yeah, like the demand for that kind of anime block, I think gave way to there being the late night anime blocks of Adult Swim, and now Adult Swim is obviously a mixed bag of adult animated cartoons from the U.S. and they have like live action stuff like the Eric Andre show and Dr. Steve Brule and stuff, and that's all like 2000s, but but like it all really happened because of the Toonami, which is really cool. Once again, another example of something in the 90s that revolutionized something and inspired future generations.
yeah.
I
And
remember Tom from Toonami. He was the mascot, and his voice actor is Steve Bloom, who does but Steve Bloom does a lot of things. He does for me like my favorite character he's ever done is Spike from Cowboy Bebop. But Yeah, every time I hear his voice, that's all I think of still to this day. Even before I think of Spike, I think of Tom. Tom from Toonami, because I grew up hearing that voice after school every day.
We had this on YTV. There was a show that I would watch called Arcade Video Countdown. I
Yeah.
think that's what it was called. And it was a Canadian show, so it was based in Toronto, and they would take kids from around the area and they would have you on the show to play the newest games that came out. And you would play like anywhere from the Super Nintendo to the N64, PlayStation 1. Yeah, one of my friends was actually on that show as a kid.
Wow, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, it was. I can't find his episode though. They're very hard to find. But that was a really cool episode to see, like to hear about.
That's awesome. Another sidebar here is I just like this week I found out that Aaron Paul was on The Price is Right before he ever became like a huge actor. You know, he's the guy who plays Jesse in Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's just a contestant on The Price is Right randomly. There's like clips of him, and I'm like, that's awesome. Like,
I didn't know that. That's
yeah, that was
cool.
interesting to see. Yeah,
But just quickly going back to the anime thing, one of my favorite animes. Just a quick sidebar again. Not really though, because it's kind of related. But Slam Dunk is one of my favorite animes because I love basketball. And when I was in Japan, I actually had the privilege to go visit the town that it's based in.
dude, that's awesome.
I know.
Like, I've always, yeah. We'll talk more about this in the video game episode, but I can bring it up here now as well because that when you saying you got to visit that town that the anime was based in, that's got to be like super cool for you to like look around at like the place and like compare and contrast it to like what you saw in the anime and see how accurate they got it.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure that was exciting. Parasite Eve, my favorite video game of all time. It took place in New York City, and I've always wanted to visit like places. It's crazy. I live like so damn close. There's no excuse that I haven't been there yet, but I plan to go there soon. But yeah, I wanted to visit like Central Park and the Carnegie Hall and all those locations that are in the game and the Museum of Natural History, all that stuff, all the locations from the game. Just because like I'd be like, yo, Aya Brea was here fighting like mutant freaking creatures in this exact spot. That's awesome.
No, it is. It was awesome because getting to see the town that it was based on. Like, it's a beautiful coastal town, so peaceful and like mountainous as well. So I was having lunch like up at the top of one of these little mountain ranges and like just looking out into the ocean. Oh my god, I was like, this is beautiful. Like, it blew my mind.
That's tremendous, honestly. I'm sure that's like definitely unforgettable experience for you.
Yeah. No, that was definitely one of my favorite as a kid was Slam Dunk. It got me into basketball quite a bit.
Dude, yeah, like anime, video games, stuff like that, so underrated. I remember I was telling someone the other night, I was telling a friend of mine that like people always talk about like, oh, games rot your mind and stuff. But as a kid, video games helped me like I'm giving away some good like stuff that we'll talk about again like, in the video game thing. But Metal Gear Solid like taught me so much about like a lot of different things that a kid my age shouldn't have known about. Like I was talking about like all kinds of stuff that like I shouldn't have known about. I just remember like repeating a lot of the stuff that Naomi says, like to Snake and like all the advice she gave him and stuff. And I was like repeating that in front of like a teacher the one time, and they were like, "How do you know about all this stuff?" Like, oh, it's from the video game that I'm playing. But yeah, I'm sorry. I got that. I brought that up, and then I was trying to circle back to where we just were.
No,
I
that's
kind of
okay.
got lost. What were we just saying?
No, I also wanted to, like, speaking of Canadian only anime, there is one that is probably the top three anime for me, and I wish I would have recommended that to you first. It's only 13 episodes. It's called Cyber 6.
Cyber 6.
Yeah. Um, it's a really good anime. And speaking of, it actually relates to your story there about how you learned about stuff before you should know it. Um, the whole concept of Cyber Six is that she's a woman who is pretending to be a man because she's pretending to be a male teacher during the day, and at nighttime she has this like panther sidekick, and she goes out and fight crimes. And she falls in love with her coworker, but she can't love him because she's a man, right? Like back then, you know. Um, but I don't know, it like taught me about like transgenderism and all that, like, you know, just things that you didn't know as a kid, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like things like that, that like, it all teaches you like tolerance and like respect for like things that like you other people might find weird and like other people might not understand. And then like you're all of a sudden you're more mature than like the kid sitting next to you at school.
Yeah. Me
Like
and
you're
my
more mature and you're more like tolerant and things like yeah, like yep, that's how it was for me with the Metal Gear stuff. I'm just like, yeah, you're gonna get like hypothermia if you don't use these insulated gloves here. Like I remember saying something like that because like Naomi warned the Snake about like getting hypothermia, and I remember talking about like, yeah, these are gloves are insulated, it'll protect you from hypothermia, and the teacher was like blown away by first grade me saying that. Like, whoa, how do you know about like hypothermia and stuff like that?
right. Yeah, no, Cyber Six is a really dark one too. It's very adult. So watching it at the age of, I guess I was about 8 or 9, was definitely something I probably shouldn't have been watching. But I mean, it was a great show, so I highly recommend it.
Yeah, that's something I'll have to add to the watch list for sure then.
And the
And I'm also glad that you did. Do you actually have a story about undergrads though? You said at the end of the pod last time.
was it undergrads or quads? Because quads was the one that I
You told me the quads. You told us the quad story, but you did mention undergrads, and then I remembered. Wait, she did say that she had a story about undergrads.
did I.
Yeah,
Oh man.
you were like, yeah, you said at the end of the pod 2 weeks ago, you're like, just mention undergrads, and then I'll know. Like, I'll remember.
Oh no. Oh no, I don't remember.
Dang, it was some
Wait,
sickness.
give me a bit. Give me a bit, and maybe I'll remember.
All right, we'll circle back to undergrads again. Uh, there's another 90s anime that I didn't get to watch in the 90s that I recently, like in the past few years, became one of my all-time favorites that I really, really, I'm going to look it up real quick to make sure it did come out in the 90s, and I hope it did because I want to talk about this anime. I rewatched it again not too long ago. Um, yeah, 1998, Bubblegum Crisis 2040, Tokyo 2040. The original Bubblegum Crisis, I think, was an 80s anime. This was a 90s remake of that. And oh my god, if you haven't seen it, it's actually super freaking cool. It's cyberpunkish. So it's a cyberpunk anime, and it's about like these girls who called the Night Sabers. They're like vigilantes, and yeah, they fight robots. The robots are called boomers, which is just funny. I just love that they're called boomers. Because it has so much meme potential. I remember in the very first episode, obviously in 98 there wasn't a term boomer for like old people. Like, I mean, there was like baby boomers, but we weren't walking around okay boomer, that wasn't a thing. Okay boomer became a thing later on. I remember the first time I watched Bubblegum Crisis, the very first episode, the main character Lena, she like apologizes to one of the robots, and her friend's like, don't apologize to a boomer. And it made me laugh because I thought of it in today's context. I'm like, hell yeah, don't apologize to a boomer. Stupid boomers ruined everything for us. But yeah, the robots are called boomers. And the boomers actually inspired Gears of War, which is a pretty cool fact. Gears of War was inspired by Bubblegum Crisis. I think that's pretty neat. The music in Bubblegum Crisis is amazing. It's got that like for a 90s cyberpunk anime, it's got that 80s like vibe to it, and I absolutely love the whole aesthetic of Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040, and yeah, I don't know, it's a comfort anime for me. I definitely consider it a comfort anime. I put that on and I can relax and vibe out with it. Love it so much. So I would have been remiss if I didn't mention Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040 on the pod today.
One that I want you to talk about, because I haven't had the chance to watch it yet, because it came out in 1998, was one that you told me about, was Perfect Blue.
Oh my gosh, Perfect Blue! I did get to watch that one just recently, like a few years ago, and that one is a psychological thriller, and I don't want to give too much away about it. It's something that you definitely need to go out of your way to check out. I could share my Prime account again with you. I mean, if you still have the info, you can watch it on my no problem. I have it on there as well. I bought it on Prime. That's the only place I own it now. I got rid of my physical media collection, and I regret doing that. So every time I want to watch it, I go back on my Prime account and watch it. I did buy it on there, but there's an uncomfortable scene in there. It's an SA scene, and it was definitely unnecessary. That's the only thing I didn't like about it. Like, I don't like that scene. They feel like you don't need that scene. I know you're trying to drive home a point of like, something messed up happening, but it was a very uncomfortable scene to see. That's the one thing about it that I wouldn't, if it's like a trigger warning or anything for something,
Yeah.
I would, there is a very prolonged and disturbing SA scene in that anime. But other than that, it tells like an amazing like story, and I don't want to give away the ending. I spoil anything about it, but basically like, it is a ride. Perfect Blue is a freaking ride, and I think everybody has to watch it at least once.
I will.
Yeah,
What?
I had to warn you about that scene because it took me by surprise. I'm like, yeah, this is messed up. Like, but yeah, it's about like someone having a double life and falling into a freaking complete like freaking mind lapse, like going crazy, and yeah, identity crisis is basically like the best way to put this, and yeah, crazy, very crazy.
I'll definitely check it out.
Hmm.
One of so Sailor Moon is my favorite anime, but I feel like the one that ties it is Digimon. I feel like Digimon is a timeless classic for me. I liked it a lot more than Pokemon. I do have
fighting words in some circles. Watching it.
I know, right? Fight me. I want to hear people's opinions about why they think Digimon is inferior to Pokemon, because it's not. Yeah, I think Digimon actually had the better, like, storyline in general.
Does Digimon have Cynthia?
Digimon has Mimi. That's like, I went back and I rewatched the first two series because I don't really like the other ones. The original two were my favorite, and Mimi is just so timelessly like funny. I can laugh at like any age at her lines. She's such a sassy
awesome.
girl.
I never did get into Digimon. I was always a Pokemon guy, and I still am to this day. Love Pokemon. Digimon is something I wanted to get into recently because of the Time Stranger game. It looks so fun, and I do want to buy that. I still plan to buy it, and I started seeing the new cards, the card game, the new card packs that they brought out. That's like based on like the hackers and stuff like that, and time hackers and all that. And I was looking at that, and I was like, yo, I think I might try to get into Digimon finally, all these years later.
No, you should, because Digimon is so much fun. And I remember like as a kid on the playground having imaginary pets, and Garurumon was always my favorite, always. And I used to imagine like this massive Digimon that would just follow me around. I actually do have a
We
story about Digimon though, that's kind of creepy.
really.
Yeah. So, back in the day, before my grandmother passed away, she gave me this necklace that was like a wish necklace, and you would write your um, wish on a piece of paper, and then you would like put it in the capsule, seal it and wear it around your neck. And I remember me and my friend who were super into Digimon, um, we wrote down on the piece of paper, I wish Digimon were real. And then we sealed it and like wore it. And we used to go to the park every day and play and pretend that we were in Digimon. And there was this forest I think I've talked about before. And it's sealed off now, but it wasn't back in the day. And
Field
um,
Forest sounds so apropos for this episode. It sounds like something out of an anime right there. The Sealed Forest, or like a video game, anything like that.
no, it was a creepy forest. Like we used to go into it as children in school, and they would have to chase us down during recess because we would just walk in, and there were a lot of like homeless people in there and everything. But we were playing, and we were playing on the other side in the field, and it suddenly got like really cold and really windy, and I was like, maybe we should go home. It's starting to storm a bit. And she taps me on the shoulder and she's like, Rebecca, look. And we look towards the forest. And I swear to God, people are going to write this off as like a childhood imagination thing. There was a shadow figure of one of the Digimon characters. It was the guy who has like long blonde hair and wears like a cape and hat, and he's like a bad guy, right? And he was standing there in the trees. And as soon as she tapped my shoulder and I looked, he started running along the like tree line.
What the heck?
And I just remember like we could vividly see it. Like we both saw it. So this
What?
wasn't just like one of us saw it. We both saw
Wow.
this. And he was running so fast. And I remember before he got to the entrance of the forest, I just like, I smacked her on the back and I was like, we gotta go, we gotta go. And we just booked it out of there. Like it was so scary. And I went home and I unsealed the necklace and I like tore up the piece of paper.
Bro, what the heck? You
Yeah.
know, I don't doubt that. I mean, I really don't. I mean, I think that there's some very unexplainable stuff that happens in the world. I've seen my fair share of things that I couldn't explain and were seen by other people with me. It's similar to my experience with my older sister when we went in the woods behind my house and both saw the same figure with a hood over its head and like no face. Looked like it was hovering off the ground with its hands together, and was absolutely horrifying. Nightmare fuel forever for the rest of my life. I'll never forget about it. That was horrifying. So that's kind of what that story reminded me of, like some type of specter. But yours actually started moving and running and all that, and resembled a character from anime.
Yeah, like I'm trying to find him now, like what his name was, because it lives in my head now. And I have a picture of him, but I don't know what his name is. I forget, but no, it was creepy. Like it was actually unnerving. And this is the same friend who like I would sleep over at her house, and we watched Sailor Moon a lot together and everything. Um we had a lot of experiences like that together that were really weird and like supernatural almost.
Anime dudes running in trees, man. Now I've heard it all.
Well, there was one other incident too that I always feel bad about when I look back on it, and I don't know if I should really share it, but it's kind of related to like Sailor Moon anyway, so it's kind of related to like the anime stuff. But when I was sleeping over at her house one time, we got in trouble from her mom because we were being too loud, I guess, like downstairs. But what do you expect at a sleepover, right? Like we're laughing, we're having a good time. And I remember she separated us and she made me go upstairs to the bedroom. And my friend, I guess, like came in and snuck in so that she could sleep with me. And her mom, for some reason, thought that was like an inappropriate thing. We were like 10 years old, right? But I guess her mom thought that was like really inappropriate, and I was never allowed to see her again.
That's horrible.
It is, right?
You were just kids, man. You don't know. Like, come on.
No, not like
Just
nothing happened or anything. Like we're kids.
the common things for kids to do is like you climb into your parents' bedroom if you have like a nightmare and stuff. I used to sleep outside my parents' bedroom door for Christ's sake.
Yeah. But like she was the friend that I always saw the weird stuff with. So there was something there, I guess, between us that we both shared like this instinct of stuff.
Yeah, like so like that's your supernatural bestie, basically.
Yeah, it was weird. It was very weird. And no, that story, like the man running in the forest, like that sticks with me forever. Like I
See,
can't get over it.
our viewers might be getting scared, so I want to tell a sleepover story of my own that's funny. We got to balance it out so the get the scaries out, right? Your story was awesome. But I'm gonna tell a quick one. When I was a kid, I stayed at a dude's house, and he had a Stone Cold Steve Austin wrestling doll that talked, and that fucking thing, it went off in the middle of the night, and it would not stop talking. In the middle of the night, I couldn't sleep. He was dead asleep. I woke up. He's like, "I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin." I was like, "Dude, shut the hell up. We know you're Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm tired. I'm trying to sleep, Stone Cold, with all due respect." And I couldn't go back to sleep because I just kept hearing it. So I took him, picked him up. I walked into my friend's bathroom, which was connected to his room, and I turned the sink on, and I ran the water directly into the speaker on the back of Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he slowly Steve Austin, and eventually he was silenced. So, and I put him in the toy box and put him under a whole bunch of toys and just went back to bed.
Oh my
My
god.
friend never knew about that. I never told him that what I did to Stone Cold. Like, he kept me up, man. Stone Cold had to go. He was a menace. So there's a funny sleepover story to
Yeah,
balance out the scary one.
balance out the scare.
Yeah, there you go. The
No,
night
but
I silenced Stone Cold Steve Austin for good.
yeah. But no, I think that Digimon definitely holds up today. So I would encourage people to give it a shot and like just watch it from the beginning again. And I like too how they did, because Pokemon always seems like they never really grew up much, but like the
Yeah.
Digimon series did that whole Try series where they're like adults and they have jobs and they finally ended the series, and it's the most heartbreaking thing because the Digimon just disappear.
Aw.
Yeah, it is sad. And I was like, oh my, because it's like a metaphor, for like losing your childhood innocence.
Hmm.
You know, oh man, it's such a good series.
That is sad. My God, why do they got to do that with like kids shows? Make it like depressing and stuff.
And like, especially now because we grew up with the series. So most people who grew up with it are in their 30s now and like have grown up with the series and become attached to these Digimon. So ending it like that was even more heartbreaking because it just ended your entire childhood basically.
It's so messed up, man.
There's
All
like
right, proud dude.
there's like a scene at the end where like Agumon is like, "Goodbye, Matt or Ty, you were my best friend," and I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like I started bawling.
That's like watching Toy Story 3 and like Andy, the main character, going off to college and getting rid of his toys. It's like crushing for people who were around for the first movie.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
really
oh,
sad.
yeah. So, speaking of which, the new Toy Story 5, I saw the preview for that, and it's literally about it's about a one of those like leap pad things, but like sort of. It's so basically it's about like a tablet. So Andy's little sister, who inherited his toys, ends up getting the tablet in the mail, and like all the toys are like scared as hell because well they're being replaced by technology, and that's a great commentary on the evolution of the world and kids playing with technology instead of toys.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah, it was like so the premise of that movie is like spot on. I'll probably end up watching it because I'm a sucker for Toy Story.
I know I never really watched Toy Story. I never really got too into it.
Yeah, that was my first movie I ever saw as a kid, and well, in the theaters at least. The first movie I got to see in the theaters, so super special to me. And I also in the '90s owned a Buzz Lightyear figure doll that I got for Christmas the one year. It was a special edition one. Instead of the purple on his head, he had red, and he had red and green lights and like buttons, and he said stuff about like I protect Christmas presents and like are you there, Rudolph, and stuff like that. It was one of my favorite toys I owned as a kid, and I saw it in a store the other day in the box, and it was like going for like $600. I was like, damn, I wanted to buy it again just to have it for my childhood, but I'm like, I can't justify that kind of freaking money for this toy. But it was pretty cool seeing it again after all those years.
No, absolutely. But no,
Um,
it, like, do you have any other animes that you would recommend?
well, like Bubblegum Crisis is something I'd recommend for sure from the '90s. Yu Yu Hakusho, like I said, my all-time favorite anime. I'm trying to make sure I hit all the big ones from that era. Trigun is a huge one that I got into obviously in the 2000s. It might have came out in 2000s actually. Let me look it up. I'm rewatching it currently right now. Actually, um, the Trigun anime. Yeah, 98 was the anime. So yeah, it's another good 90s anime. Trigun. Um, I know Fully Cooley came out in 2000s, but that was another big part of my like teenage years was watching Fully Cooley on actually no, it came out in 99. Well, the manga did come out in 99. The anime did start in 2000, I believe. But yeah, that was a big part of like my teen years. Fully Cooley was like its coming of age story, and I remember we read The Catcher in the Rye in school, and I wrote a whole like paper. I wrote a whole research paper comparing three different pieces of art together. It was Fully Cooley the anime, which is a coming of age story, Catcher in the Rye, which is a coming of age story, and the song Lost in Hollywood by System of a Down. And I discussed like all these connections between all those three source materials and like how they're inspired by each other in different ways. And that was really, really fun. I really wanted to tell that story real quick because like that that was something really cool that I liked, that I was a good memory from my childhood.
Oh, that's nice. I just want to recommend another one that I recently got into from this year, but it did release. Well, it's been running for God like 25 years or something. One Piece.
Oh God, yeah.
It's actually a
One Piece is
really
what I
really good
do,
one.
but yeah. Case Closed is an all timer for me. That came out, that started in the '90s. It's still going today. Detective Conan / Case Closed. The manga series is amazing. They're up to like 90 volumes in Japan right now, and I think we got up to like 70 some released in English. I I want to collect the entire series again. There's a manga store that's opened up nearby me now that I keep telling them to get that in because I was like, I will buy every volume if you get it in here. I can buy them on Amazon, but some of them are harder to get on Amazon, the earlier copies and volumes. So I tell them every time I'm in there, just order this series. It will sell. People will like it. I love Case Closed. Uh, it's a great detective series about a guy named Shinichi Kudo, and in the English dub that we saw on Adult Swim, his name was Jimmy Kudo. He got turned into a child from a drug called apatoxin. I don't know the number after it, but yeah, he got turned into a child with that drug. They thought they killed him with it. This mysterious organization known as the Black Organization, because they all wear black. They all have code names that are different alcohols. So gin and vodka were the first ones we saw, and later on, there's so many more that have popped up since. And yeah, Conan's still trapped in a kid's body. Every once in a while, he can get into his adult body, but he's still trying to destroy this evil black organization who still exist. And there's just more and more members all the time. The anime is up over 1,000 episodes. We don't know if he's ever going to finally destroy these guys and get his body back, but there's a lot of filler episodes that are just regular cases, which are all still good because the guy writes. Don't know how Gosho Ayama writes these cases, like so many different unique murders. There's only so many ways someone can be murdered, yet he comes up with different ways, thousands of times over, different murder cases. Very, very good series though. Netflix just released a good collections of it, couple good collections that I recommend checking out because it's like essential episodes and they dubbed them all. So definitely go check it out.
No, definitely.
Sorry, I was pretty long-winded. I love Case Closed, but
No, that's okay. And
I love it.
one that I can't not mention is Yu-Gi-Oh! Because that one was a huge thing in my childhood too.
Did you watch the anime first, or do you ever get into the card game as well?
I actually got into the anime first, and then I collected the cards.
Yeah, it was the same for me. I seen one episode of the anime, I went out and bought cards, and we started dueling it out at school, man. 90s, or not 90s, like that was like 2000s more or less too. But still, so many memories of dueling in school and losing rare cards to people because I sucked and didn't know what the hell I was doing.
I just remember going to a Comic-Con one time, like years and years ago, and there was a person who cosplayed as the entire life-size version of a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Like, he made it, too, like himself. So it was just this huge dragon, and he was holding up the head with a stick, and he was wearing, like, the body. And it was made of, like, cardboard cloth and everything, and he was selling the entire costume for about, like, $800. And if I had the money, I would have bought it. Like, it was that good.
That's absolutely insane. I love people who are so passionate about their cosplays and they build something so unique and so cool. Like, I love that. You can tell the ones that are, like, super passionate. They work so hard on that.
Yeah.
I have so much respect for people.
I know, I wish I could get into cosplay, but it was never really my thing.
Yeah, I've always had like ideas for cosplays. Actually, I think I might have told you my one idea that I had. I wanted to create a character who was a male version of Aerith and named Eric, spelled like Aerith's name, but like, Aerich, like Eric.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to create a character like that where because I remember trying to look at like different like outfits that I could use. Like I'd wear a red like vest, sort of like how what Eric has, like the red jacket, and then like a pink shirt and probably like like pink like shorts and like these like similar boots to how she would have, but like my own style And I have like everything picked out for it, and I still do want to do that character eventually.
That's funny because I also I wanted to do a cosplay of a male or a female Squall.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love to see that. That's cool.
But yeah, no, those were pretty much my core animes was Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, Sailor Moon, and Cyber Six. And then everything else I kind of got into later on in my life.
Yeah, that's the same for me. A lot of these 90s animes that I grew up with, and then there's a lot that I ended up discovering later on and then finding out, well, that was 90s? Well, I missed out on that back then. Oh, well.
Yeah, right. I mean, Inuyasha was one, but that was released like right on the ball drop, so
Yeah, yeah, it was like it's like right in between there. It could still be considered honorary 90s.
yeah, honor and 90s. I mean, it's a time travel one, so
Yeah, feudal Japan.
yeah, that was pretty much mine. And I'm glad I got to hear some recommendations from you as well.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely been a fun one today. Uh I'm just gotta make sure we hit everything because you know don't. But then again, if we miss anything, we'll just talk about it again in another episode. We'll be like, hey, we didn't talk about this in this episode, like we did in this week.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my god. Yeah, Sailor Moon I didn't get to be into until later on. Ranma One Half. That was a big one for a couple of my friends in school. They were obsessed with that, and I didn't get into that until later on either.
I'd never heard of that one.
Serial Experiments Lane. That's the one too that one of my good friends, had on DVD or VHS and whatnot, and that's one that is one of the most prolific pieces of anime ever made. It really holds up now more than it ever did, and it really talks about like technology and like what it does to you, like to replace like the person you actually are. Like it can be anybody that you want to be on like the computer, and the Wired, how we're all connected. It's such a good anime. It's another psychological one, so if you ever get a chance to check out Serial Experiments Lane, I can't recommend that one enough.
Yeah, no, I'll check that one out too.
Yeah, so I'm glad I caught that one because I would have been kicking myself if I didn't recommend that one or even at least mention it. And then Neon Genesis Evangelion is obviously one I've talked about, the VHS tapes in the first episode. I have a Asuka hoodie that I wear that I like. I always get really happy when someone recognizes what it's from because it's more like obscure since it is like a 90s thing. But a lot of like people who weren't even anywhere near the 90s, they recognize the character on there. They're like, I know her. She's from and like yeah, like they'll say it, and I'm like, dude, yeah, that's it. That's that's awesome. Heck yeah. So yeah. Any other stories that come to mind for you?
Not particularly. I still can't remember that undergrad's one.
Ah, I was hoping for that undergrads one.
I know, I think
We'll get
maybe
it
I might
someday.
have misspoke and I actually meant the quads one.
Yeah, you might have, because you did mention them like in the same breath earlier, so you probably associate them pretty closely together, I'd imagine.
Yes. No, I can't remember what I wanted to talk about with that, which sucks because it was probably really funny.
I want to do another shout out real quick to another anime, Cardcaptor Sakura. Um, Cardcaptors was a big one for me as a kid, and I didn't. My love of Clamp, the creators of that original manga, I didn't discover my love of that. It's a all female group called Clamp that made the manga for that. But they created one of my all time favorite series ever, Holic. It's a XXX Holic, so the name of the anime made it seem like it was about a porn addict, but it's not. It's nothing to do with that. But they created Holic, and they like to draw these like elongated like limbs on their characters. The characters look wacky as hell in Holic, and it's just Clamp's drawing style. But Holic is connected to Cardcaptor Sakura, which is also connected to Tsubasa, the Reservoir Chronicle. There's like so many of their anime and manga that are all within the same universe in a way, which is also really, really neat. So shouts out to Cardcaptor Sakura as well.
That was my best friend's favorite anime. I never got into it myself, but she tried many times.
Yeah, Holic is something I really love. If you ever read the manga of Holic, Sakura appears in that but quite frequently because like the rift of time like opens and she kind of just shows up there sometimes every now and again. And there's like the wand and other stuff. Chobits is another anime and manga that Clamp created that also is referenced in Holic. Holic's basically like a hub for like all of Clamp's other works, which is really cool. So manga readers especially, check out Holic.
And then for my honorary mention, I just want to... Most people have probably seen it, but Cowboy Bebop. That's always a good one. I saw a clip the other day that just made me laugh, and someone had dubbed... I don't know if it's a real clip. Like, I don't know if it's actually real or not, but it's Spike, and he's facing a girl, and he's like, I love the kind of woman that will actually just kill me. And, like, just keeps going. And he's like, I want you to kill me. I want you to make it, like, really messy. And, like, it just makes me laugh so hard.
Yeah, no, Spike does say that kind of stuff. Spike does like the kind of woman that can hurt him. I identify with Spike in that way. But he likes the kind of girl that can kick his ass, I think was one of the sayings that he said.
Don't we all?
Yeah. So I love that. Spike's awesome. Shouts out Steve Bloom again. Great voice actor for the English dub. My best friend and I always find ourselves randomly quoting the very first episode of Cowboy Bebop when he's like, when the Jet makes the bell peppers and beef, but there's no beef because obviously they're poor as hell and they can't afford the beef. And I just love that. You said bell peppers and beef. There's no beef in here. So you wouldn't call it bell peppers and beef, would you? Yes, I would. Well, it's not. It is when you're broke. I love that.
I know
that's rent free forever. That whole scene.
It's one that I want to watch the live action, but I'm like not 100% sure I like it.
Couldn't get into it at all.
Yeah.
I tried. I give every live action a chance. I'm not one of those that goes in like, it's not going to be good at all. Like, I think there's always a chance for it to be good. It's just very rare that it is. And in that one, for me, it definitely was.
Yeah.
So I gave that one 2 thumbs down. I thumbed it down on Netflix. I'm sure that means a lot to them.
Right.
Ooh.
I do suggest the One Piece live action, though.
Yeah.
That one's actually really good.
Okay. Yeah. I've never been into One Piece, but if I ever get into it one day, maybe.
It's actually one that got me into One Piece in the first place. So, because my friend sat me down and had me watch the first episode with her, and I was like, this is actually really good. Like, they do the compression of the series really well, so they're trying their best to pace it as much as possible. Yeah. And, like, the actors, you can tell, are really, like, into their characters, and they know the characters. And it's really well done. But yeah, that was pretty much my list of animes. I really just love like Digimon, Sailor Moon, and that. So
yeah, those were the essentials as a kid for a lot of us.
We are going to be doing a separate episode on Ronin Warriors versus Sailor Moon as well.
Ronin Warriors versus Sailor Moon. Yeah, we'll do some comparisons to that for sure as an episode of its own.
Yeah.
I also had an announcement to make here, a pitch to make here, and see how you feel about this. So there's a podcast that Chris Jericho, the wrestler, does, and it's called "His Talk Is Jericho." But he has every once in a while he'll do something called the Classic Album Clash, where he'll have like other people on there with him, and they'll take like two albums by the same artist that have equal amount of tracks to them, and they will compare track by track. So first track one of this album versus track one of this album, and then they talk about the strengths and weaknesses of each song, and then they say which track wins. They vote which track wins there. Then at the end they see which album won overall.
Mhm.
And I kind of wanted to do something like that similar on this podcast with like 90s albums, and also even with like 90s like animes, even like if it's like 212 episode like shows, episode by episode like comparison, and like see what's better. Do it with both music and with other media. I think that would be fun for some really cool episodes to do.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I think that bringing something like that on would be very fun. I thought about that and I'm like, that'd be super fun. I love listening to those types of episodes. That's like the main episodes that I listen to of his show when I see that he does this, because I actually really, really am a sucker for that kind of thing. I'm like, heck yeah, they're doing another classic album clash. I want to do this, because then it encourages me to, even if it's an album I've listened to a bunch of times, I'm like, heck, I'm gonna go listen to this album and both these albums back to back, and then I can play along with them as they're doing this. Like,
Yeah, no, that sounds like a good idea.
mhm. So I think that'll be good for future episodes. We have so much content coming on this podcast. We have so much, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what next week is going to be yet, but we'll discuss that between
Yeah,
us.
yeah, we will. Yeah. Either way, it's going to be a good one, and that's for sure.
Yeah, and I had a
Yeah,
good
the
time
anime.
talking about the anime and revisiting my childhood.
Yeah, we heard a lot of fun stories about ghosts and Stone Cold Steve Austin
Yeah, how you killed him.
killed him once and for all. Sorry, R.I.P. Stone Cold. Could
But
have
yeah,
just let me sleep.
you're right.
Wouldn't have happened.
But yeah, that about wraps that up, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so. This was another fun episode, and I we appreciate you guys all tuning in this week, as we do every other week. And yeah, check out all the archived episodes so far. We're up to three of them. Listen to all three of these bad boys. Let us know what you think on the YouTube, on the Spotify. Uh, Thank you for the feedback so far, and we're far from done. It's 3 episodes down, and we want to be here for like as many as possible. We love
Yeah.
it. So tell your friends about us. Share us around. Let everybody know what's
And
happening here. Where the ball dropped.
and let me know in the comments, Digimon versus Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Digimon.
Pokemon gang, rise up.
No, Digimon. It's all Digimon.
We got Mommy Cynthia on our side, yo.
All right,
The
guys.
only like adult Pokemon girl that there is. Like, so funny.
But yeah, so that'll be it for this week. And I'm Rebecca,
And I'm James.
and we are bouncing out. And this was Before the Ball Dropped, episode 3.
See you.
Bye.